My dad grew up on a farm, and since he grew up on a farm, their income was solely based on the success of every single year's crops. That if there wasn't enough rain or the crops didn't do well, they weren't able to do a lot as a family financially. And so I remember as a kid, my dad telling me about countless times that there was maybe a season of a lack of rain or some type of drought where they had not had rain for weeks or maybe several days, and it impacted the type of crops that they were going to have. And so one of the things that my dad would tell me, that my granddad, as they would sit around the table, would kind of be downcast, discouraged, disappointed because of a lack of production from those crops. And so since he was disappointed by that, what he always decided to do was to go outside and to walk up and down every single one of those rows of those crops. And as he's walking up and down the rows of those crops, he would pray for that crop. But what my dad told me he would also pray is he would pray a prayer of thanks, to thank God for what he has done in all the ways that he had blessed him. And Dad even told me there would be certain times that he would actually hop on the tractor and drive around that field and pray for it and pray for himself too. And one of the things that my dad shared with me is that while he walked out to that field very downcast, very disappointed, when he got done with that walk, when he walked in, his demeanor, his whole attitude and perspective had changed. See, one of the things that happened with my granddad is his circumstance had not changed. But because he had a walk with God, his perspective has. Yesterday at Madison, we opened up our Bibles to Luke chapter 24. And we looked at Jesus' encounter with these two people on the road to Emmaus. Like my granddad, they were disappointed. They were discouraged. But it turns out that a walk with God can make all the difference in the world. And so one of the things that I shared with you yesterday was that as our life goes, we kind of view it at times as like a destination. But reality is the journey. And as we are going on this journey with God, what we oftentimes find, like these two people found in Luke chapter 24, is that God is not just in the destination, but oftentimes we get to know him really well in the detours. So one of the things that I encourage you to do as the action step for this week was to go on a walk with God. I know it sounds simple, but I think it has the ability to have a huge impact on your life. So one of the things that I encourage you to do is to literally go on a walk, to maybe walk up and down your sidewalk, to find one of the beautiful greenways that we have here in Madison, and to walk and just talk with God, to thank him for what he is doing in your life, and to praise him for the good things that you see around you, but also to pour your heart out to him. And what you'll find is that your circumstances in life may not necessarily change, but what can change is your perspective. Or I also encourage you, maybe if you have little ones at the house, to go on one of our awesome hiking trails that we have in this area, to walk on those trails and maybe play the ABC game with your kids. And as you're walking down that trail, get them to spot something that God made with an A, B, C, and the list can go on, just to get them engaged. Because I don't know if you're like me, but there's something almost therapeutic about getting out in nature, removing yourself from those screens and just being with God in nature. And I think it's in those times that we experience, as we walk with God, that he gets us back in rhythm with him.